3 people killed in an explosion in Red River in protests in both Hong Kong and Ecuador.
The Doolittle movie gets a new actor and the Joker movie dominates the weekend. The Bipsy News starts now.
From the studios at Bossier Parish Community College, this is Bipsy News.
Welcome to the Bipsy News for Monday, October 14th. I'm Jilian Rogers.
And I'm Shaquille Jefferson. Jilian, let's start off with a look at what's going on around campus right now.
The Office of Student Life and the Bipsy Student Government Associate sponsors an annual talent show that is open to all currently enrolled Bipsy students. Contestants are judged on overall performance, audience response, stage appearance, originality, and personality. There will be an interest meeting October 15th at 1:30 p.m. and Wednesday, October 23rd at 1 p.m. in Building F, Room 220. Talent show will be held Saturday, November 2nd at 6 p.m. in the Stephen W. Slaughter Theater, Building C.
The Gay Straight Alliance at Bipsy holds regular weekly meetings on Mondays and Wednesdays at 1 p.m. in Building F, Room 220. The GSA fosters support, awareness, and inclusiveness in a student-led environment, and meetings are open to all students who wish to attend.
The Bipsy baseball and softball teams broke ground on a new locker room, and we were there to see the groundbreaking ceremony.
On Friday, October 11th, Bossier Parish Community College broke ground for new locker rooms for our baseball and softball Cavaliers. There were a lot of familiar faces in attendance, and due to the weather, we got to see a ceremonial groundbreaking inside the Coach Billy Montgomery Gymnasium, and Billy Montgomery himself was in attendance for this great step forward for our athletics division. Construction is scheduled to be completed by the start of the spring sports season. The new locker rooms will be located between the baseball and softball fields on the Bipsy campus. Make sure to catch a game this coming spring and check out the new facilities. Now back to the news desk.
Coming up, Paige Brenner will have your weather.
And the Deep South's only Democratic governor gets sent to the runoff race. More on this after the break.
Hello, my name is Paige, and after the break, we'll be back with your Bipsy weather.
Us. It's what this country is made of. A helping hand, a shoulder to lean on. Us is all of us. Different looks, different voices.
Hello.
One sacred bond. But right now, that bond is fraying. Where do we find common ground? How do we get back to us? The why fills the gaps and bridges our divides. It's a place where we can become us again. Now, more than ever, the why needs your support. Because where there's a why, there's an us. For a better us, donate to your local why today.
We love track and field because it's very clear-cut, it's measurable, and it's fair. Every athlete has the same starting line and the same finish line.
The first time we met our World Vision sponsored child, Philemon, we realized that he didn't have the same starting line in life that we had. The setup of the race wasn't fair.
He didn't have simple things like access to clean water, health care, or a good school to go to.
Sponsoring Philemon has changed his life, his community, and it's changed our lives as well. World Vision is working to help kids like Philemon have a fair shot at life.
Welcome back. This is Paige with your Bipsy weather. Let's take a look at the current temperatures. In Marshall, it's 75 degrees. Nacogdoches is 74. Texarkana is 78. Ruston is 75. Minden is 77. And Natchitoches is 75. Let's take a look at your Bipsy weather. It's Monday, rainy with 73 degrees. The humidity is at 66%. The dew point is at 61 degrees. The wind is coming in from the southeast at 6 miles per hour. The sunset is at 6:45 p.m. Now let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. On Tuesday, we'll have some thunderstorms with an 80% chance of rain. 76 is your high and 58 will be the low. On Wednesday, it's partly cloudy with no chance of rain. The high is 69 and the low is 49. Thursday, it will also be partly cloudy with your high of 71 degrees and your low of 49. Friday is partly cloudy with a high of 74 and a low of 60. Saturday will be partly cloudy with a 15% chance of rain with a high of 81 degrees and a low of 69. Now let's get you back to the news desk.
John Bel Edwards' bid for a second term as a Deep South-only Democratic governor will be decided in November after Louisiana voters Saturday sent him to a runoff in a race that became heavy with national politics in the final days. Edwards will face Republican businessman Eddie Rispone in the November 16th runoff. In addition to keeping the governor's race going for 5 more weeks, Louisiana voters re-elected 5 of the 6 Republican statewide elected officials running for another term, sending the 6th to a runoff. They also decided whether to rewrite 4 provisions in the state constitution. All candidates, regardless of party, ran against each other on the same ballot. Runoff elections are held among the top 2 vote-getters in each competition if no candidate reaches more than 50% of the vote.
October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Shreve Memorial Library is doing their part by hosting programs for the community. Shreve Memorial Library will host 2 programs this month. The first takes place Tuesday, October 15th at the David Raines branch at 2855 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive in Shreveport. The program is called Let's Talk About Domestic Violence and features Nicole Gore, who will provide information on what victims and those affected by domestic violence can do. There is also a question and answer period that follows. The program will take place from 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the meeting room of the branch.
East Texas authorities are investigating an explosion that killed 3 people in Red River County, Texas. Investigators believe the explosion happened Saturday night on some private land in the community of Johntown, just 4 miles southeast of Bogota. Red River County Sheriff officials say a family member called 911 on Sunday afternoon when they became concerned because they hadn't heard from their loved ones staying inside a bunker. First responders recovered their bodies, which have been sent to Dallas for an autopsy. The Texas State Fire Marshal's office is digging up the bunker and processing the scene to determine the exact cause of the explosion. Authorities say the private land where the explosion happened is used mainly by hunters, out-of-town visitors.
Not every dog can be a lifesaver like Lassie, but according to new research, owning a dog can reduce the chances of dying early. In today's Health Minute, Meredith Wood gives more insight into what they bring to us.
You getting a belly rub?
They're called man's best friend for many reasons. And here's one more for you. Owning a dog can reduce the chance of dying early. A study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association combed through 70 years of research involving nearly 4 million people in several countries. The result? They found owning a dog was linked to a 24% reduction in all mortality causes. And for people who suffered a heart attack or stroke, having a 4-legged companion reduced their risk of dying from cardiovascular disease by 31%. This was echoed by a second study that found people who own dogs had better health outcomes after suffering a stroke or heart attack. It's unclear exactly what the link is, but there are guesses. For instance, increased activity. The American Heart Association points to a study that found pet owners who walk their dogs get 30 more minutes of exercise per day than those who don't walk. And other studies have found that just petting a dog or having a canine companion can reduce your blood pressure and reduce anxiety and depression. For today's Health Minute, I'm Meredith Wood.
Coming up, James Farrar will have your sports update.
And a public health concern centered around vaping, this and more coming up after the break.
Stay tuned because coming up after the break, we're going down to the Bayou in Baton Rouge to check in on the LSU Tigers for the first time this season. You don't want to miss it.
The best cancer care starts with the best cancer information. Cancer.net, the award-winning patient information website of the American Society of Clinical Oncology, empowers patients, families, and caregivers by providing timely, oncologist-approved information and resources right at their fingertips. Cancer.net offers comprehensive information on more than 120 types of cancer, side effects, coping, caregiving, clinical trials, and much more. Cancer.net also features a blog, videos, podcasts, and a mobile app. The site is designed to help people with cancer better understand the disease, from diagnosis and treatment through survivorship.
You could just rely on Cancer.net. It has very accurate information. It can give you hope. It's been a great resource.
For more information, visit Cancer.net and find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Cancer.net is supported by the Conquer Cancer Foundation.
If your family is like most, the kitchen is your home's central gathering place. Now, homeowners are looking to enhance their kitchen's appeal with a timeless and transitional design that also makes a personal statement. A recent survey of top architects and designers found that when it comes to kitchens, neutrals win the game. The experts see this trend not only in paint choice and cabinetry, but in sinks as well. Meeting that need is a new Sil Granite sink color, Concrete Gray from Blanco. Clean, organic, and extremely balanced, the shade is at home in both urban and natural settings. Making it easier than ever to pick the best sink for your kitchen, Blanco offers an app that helps match sinks and countertops. You can even take a photo of a countertop to add it to the app and match the sinks to that selection. As for the kitchens of tomorrow, the designers predict smart appliances controlled by smartphones and an edgy technology-based look. Learn more at BlancoAmerica.com. Most Americans will need long-term care at some point, and it's not covered by Medicare or health insurance. Fortunately, a life settlement can be the answer. You sell your life insurance policy to an investor and get an immediate cash payment that's generally 4 or more times greater than you'd get for a lapsed or surrendered policy. The investor pays the premiums and collects the benefit when the time comes. Learn more from the Life Insurance Settlement Association and find life settlement professionals at lisa.org.
At least one thing in your life is easy to control. Fujitsu offers a full line of energy-efficient ductless heating and cooling systems that lets you control the individual temperature in each room, no matter what's going on. And our new Wi-Fi enabled systems allow you to control it from anywhere. This means customized comfort and energy savings, where and when you want it, at your control. Fujitsu. Infinite comfort. To learn more, visit fujitsugeneral.com.
Welcome back with today's Sports Update. I'm James Farrar. The LSU Tigers have gotten off to a great start this season, weathering an early season trip to Austin to take on the Texas Longhorns, but this weekend in Death Valley they faced easily their toughest test to date. The 7th-ranked Florida Gators and their top-ranked defense had allowed a total of 29 points in 5 games combined, but it was all LSU on this night. Quarterback Joe Burrow threw for 293 yards on 21 of 24 passing, and Tigers running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire added another 134 yards on the ground as LSU totaled 511 yards of offense and used a 21-0 stretch in the second half to pull away from the Gators 42-28. The Tigers have yet to score under 42 points in any game this season and now sit third in the polls behind only Clemson and Alabama. Their next test will come as a trip to Starkville as they take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs before they come back home for another top 25 opponent in the Auburn Tigers. But everyone's already looking ahead to a trip to Tuscaloosa and a matchup against number 1 Alabama that could decide who represents the SEC West in the conference title game as well as the college football playoff. That's all for today's Sports Update. I'm James Farrar. Now let's go back over to the news desk.
While vaping and e-cigarettes use is an epidemic among teens, a survey shows adults in the United States are vaping less. That's according to the annual National Health Interview Survey. It shows that between 2017 and 2018, vaping for young adults increased significantly. But that didn't happen for middle-aged or older adults. Other surveys show nearly 30% of high school students currently use e-cigarettes. Even middle schoolers are vaping more each year. Studies show that the trend is a public health concern.
Pro-democracy protesters gathered in Hong Kong's Winter Garden on Monday, calling on the U.S. Congress to pass the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act. Hong Kong's government released a statement on the matter, quote, expressing regret over the demonstrations and reiterating that foreign governments should not interfere in Hong Kong's internal affairs. The U.S. Congress is expected to vote on the bill on either Thursday or Wednesday in Washington, D.C.
10 days of violent protests in Ecuador. The Ministry of Government asked citizens to stay in their homes after President Lenin Moreno announced a new curfew order. The president tweeted that the measure will take effect at 3 p.m. local time. The protests began after the government's move to end state fuel subsidies.
Caught on camera. A cough sparks a violent attack at Texas gas station. Meredith Wood has that and more in today's Take a Look at This.
Believe it or not, police say this attack at a Houston convenience store apparently all started over a cough. The two women were sitting next to each other at the slots. When one of them started coughing, the other started yelling, and the situation only escalated from there. Police are still searching for the suspected attacker. These doodles might look like typical barroom decor, but take a closer look. It could be worth a couple of $100,000. Japanese artist Yoshi Tomonaro marked up this wall inside of a Manhattan bar called Niagara nearly 10 years ago. Nara just sold another painting at auction for nearly $25 million, raising the value of his other works. A rep for the artist says the drawing was done in the spirit of the moment, and Nara would rather not see it sold. Take a look at this growing mound of candy.
It's not for us, it's for the kids.
The residents of Hardis Assisted Living near Houston are getting ready for Halloween. The old folks were sad to miss out on all the trick-or-treat festivities, so they turned to some newfangled technology.
First, I got to make sure everybody knows about the internet, of course.
They took a picture and went to social media to spread the word in hopes of getting candy donated to pass out on Halloween. And the community did not disappoint. For Take a Look at This, I'm Meredith Wood.
When we come back, we'll take a look at the movies that dominated the box office this weekend.
And also a look into the new Dr. Dolittle movie. All that and more when we return.
Clinical trials are at the heart of advances in health and medicine. You as a volunteer in a clinical trial can play an important part in advancing human health for yourself and others. Clinical trials rely on volunteers with a certain disease or medical condition, and some studies need healthy people. Guidelines and a review board are in place to make sure studies are safe. Talk to your healthcare provider. I hope you'll consider joining a clinical trial. Visit clinicaltrials.gov.
To help kids succeed as adults, it pays for parents to teach them about money early. People who learned about money as children were more likely to have a higher income as adults than those who didn't. But parents today don't go about it the way their parents did, a survey by Quicken, maker of best-selling personal finance software, revealed. Modern moms and dads are more likely to teach their kids about charitable giving, more likely to use credit cards to explain finance, and much more likely to discuss investing. When you're moving to a new home, 4 hints can help make the move smoother. First, get at least 3 free written in-home estimates from moving companies. Next, read your paperwork carefully. Once you've signed a contract, you've agreed to what it says about your move. Remember, communication is key. Make sure the mover has your cell phone number and you have the driver's name and truck number. Finally, consider a certified pro mover who meets the American Moving and Storage Association's high standards. Learn more at moving.org.
Here are some simple steps for a more restful sleep. Try to keep a regular sleep schedule so your body's internal clock is set to sleep through the night. Give yourself enough time to settle down and relax prior to bedtime so it's easier to fall asleep and stay asleep. Avoid caffeine and excess liquids in the evenings. Get plenty of exercise during the day so you feel tired at night.
Treating your asbestos disease means spending lots of time with doctors. Understand what they're saying with the free pocket-sized asbestos disease glossary that explains all the medical terms and the roles of the mesothelioma and lung cancer specialists involved in your care. Also, learn how to best pay for your significant medical expenses. Call Asbestos Lifeline today at 800-990-1650 or visit asbestoslifeline.com.
For many young men, the road to a good education and career begins with a single, simple step: registering with the Selective Service. Registration is required for many college loans, grants, and scholarships, job training programs, and millions of jobs. In many places, you need to register at the time you get your driver's license. Be sure to check. Fortunately, it's easy. You can get help at your school, find a mail-in form at the post office, check the box on the FAFSA form, or register online at sss.gov, where you can also learn more about taking this important step.
Robert Downey Jr. is dropping his Iron Man suit to talk to the animals. Downey plays a reimagined version of his Dr. Dolittle in his newest film, Dolittle. Fans got a first look at the film when its trailer was released over the weekend. In it, you see that the doctor can still talk to animals, but Downey's version is a man on a dangerous voyage to save the young Queen of England. It's the actor's first big project since Marvel's Avengers Endgame. Fellow Endgame actor Tom Holland also has a role in the movie. Dolittle is slated to hit the theaters on January 17th, 2020.
Warner Brothers' Joker is topping this weekend's box office. The psychological thriller starring Joaquin Phoenix brought in $55 million in its second weekend of release. Joker has now taken in $543 million at the worldwide box office. The animated comedy The Addams Family came in second with $30 million. Will Smith's Gemini Man was third with $20 million.
Today in entertainment news, a small film has a huge debut, a veteran performer gets a royal honor, and a Beatle reveals something about Abbey Road. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
부모님 얼굴도 뵙고 좋더라. 건강들 하시고. 일거리가 없으셔도. 네가 내 대신 얘 과외 선생님 좀 해줘라. 영어. 대학생인 척하라는 거야? 구라를 좀 치지 뭐.
Parasite, the Korean film that won top honors at the Cannes Film Festival, is making its mark in the U.S. It made $376,000 its opening weekend in just 3 theaters. That's more than $125,000 per theater, the highest weekend average of any film in 3 years.
I think it's nice.
A royal honor for Bernadette Peters, the Tony and Golden Globe winning actress, is this year's recipient of the Prince Rainier III Award for her artistry and philanthropy. Peters will be honored at the 37th annual Princess Grace Awards Gala, November 25th in New York.
None of us walked away saying that's it.
Ringo Starr says Abbey Road, which just turned 50, wasn't intended to be the final studio album the Beatles ever recorded.
You know, we didn't all walk away saying, okay, well, that's it for us, you know. We walked away just like we finished that record, now we're going on. And, you know, things happen, and it did actually end up being the last one. So it wasn't planned, but there it is.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
We're almost out of time, but first let's head over to Paige Werner for our look at the out-the-door weather.
This is Paige. Let's take a look at the out-the-door weather. It's Monday with a 35% chance of rain. The high is 76 and the low is 67. On Tuesday, we have an 80% chance of thunderstorms with a high of 76 and a low of 58. Wednesday, it is partly cloudy with a high of 69 and a low of 49. This is Paige with your out-the-door weather. Let's get you back to the news desk.
That's all we have for you today. I'm Jilian Rogers.
And I'm Shaquille Jefferson. From everyone here at the BIPC News, thank you for tuning in, and we hope you have a fantastic day.